Jiang Ailing's The Story of the Golden Lock. The most terrifying thing in marriage is not the lack of money, but the lack of love. Among Jiang Ailing's works, if we say the most famous, it should be The Story of the Golden Lock. It tells the story of Cao Qiqiao, a girl from a poor family who married into a wealthy family. But her suppressed passion led to psychological distortion, ruining herself and destroying the happiness of her children. Cao Qiqiao is a flesh and blood character. As a slave of money and the executioner of lust, she makes people feel hateful. As a woman who lacks love and whose lust cannot be satisfied, she makes people feel pitiful. Fu Lei highly praised this novel, comparing it with Diary of a Madman and calling it one of the most beautiful gains in our literary world. In the story, the painful thing is the crazy man and the resentful woman. Beyond the story, the most beautiful thing is the black and white text. Qiqiao, a girl from a poor family who married into a wealthy family, was called Qiqiao because she was born in July. Perhaps her creator, Jiang Ailing, wanted to give her a handsome temperament through the name. In an essay about naming, Jiang Ailing said, "Every number still has its unique charm. 3 and 7 are handsome, and to looks honest." Qiqiao's family owns a sesame oil shop and has a brother named Cao Danian. The sesame oil shop is located on a gravel road, exuding the fragrance of sesame oil all day long. Here, there is a greasy counter, a tahini bucket with a wooden spoon standing upright, and an oil vat with an iron spoon hanging from it. Qiqiao grew up to be 18 or 19 years old, with a red mouth and fine teeth, triangular eyes, and small brows. He was quick and agile at work and became the live sign of the store. When she goes shopping for groceries, she likes to roll up her sleeves and reveal her white wrists. Girls who are young, energetic, good-looking, and good at work are naturally popular. The pig butcher at the butcher shop, Cao Danian's sworn brother, and Tailor Shen's son are all interested in Qiqiao, especially Chao Lu from the butcher shop. Every time he saw her passing by, he would rush to call Miss Cao. When he called out Qiao Jir, she slapped the back of the hook. Countless empty hooks swung over to tap his eyes. Chao Lu picked off a piece of raw lard about a foot wide from the hook and threw it heavily on the meat table. Throw it away, and a gust of warm wind hits her face. The young men and women amidst the fireworks in the market exude vulgar and vigorous lust. If Qiqiao chooses one of these people, he will be a favor to a poor and humble couple for 100 days, and the poor will always have fun. However, under her brother's decision, Qiqiao married into the wealthy and powerful Jiang mansion. This kind of people who lead cars and sell pulp are regarded as shabby people in the eyes of wealthy families. How could they be involved in one place? The second master of the Jiang family was disabled, so the daughter of a wealthy family naturally refused to marry. The matchmaker introduced the Cao family, and the old lady made Qiqiao the first wife. In order to make the suitor serve his son wholeheartedly, Mr. Jiang lay paralyzed in bed all day long, unable to move around without people, and had no popularity at all. According to Qiqiao himself, the flesh on his body was soft and heavy, and when touched, his legs and feet would feel numb. In the eyes of outsiders, when a girl from a poor family marries into a wealthy family, she is like flying to a high branch and becoming a phoenix. In fact, only Qiqiao knew what it was like to be a widow. A marriage with the wrong family and unsatisfied sexual desires is bound to be a disaster. The one who loved him in the past could not get it, and he was always in turmoil. Qiqiao was suffering in the deep courtyard. She would tease her newly married sister-in-law and tell some dirty jokes. He would also take the initiative to flirt with his brother-in-law, using language and body to tease him. Brother-in-law Jiang Jais is a playboy with a great sense of fun. There is always a hint of impatience in his watery black eyes. He was the only man she came into contact with who was healthy and could possibly happen. Qiqiao didn't care about moral ethics. After all, she was so horny. Jiang Jais often goes out to look for flowers and willows. When faced with Qiqiao, who takes the initiative to stick to her, he doesn't not want to, but is afraid that he won't be able to throw her away. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. After her husband and mother-in-law passed away one after another, several families were separated and each lived their own lives. One day, Zhang Jai suddenly came to the door. He exchanged greetings. She was wary, and the two of them walked around the house and property doing tai kai. As he talked, he began to confess. He said that these years, he has always had Qiqiao in his heart. He went out to Luanxi just to avoid her. He was afraid that he could not control himself and cheated her in vain. He suffered a lot for her. With this belated and sudden confession, Qiqiao ushered in the highlight moment of her life. Lower your head, bathe in the light. The subtle music, the subtle joy. Over the years, she has been playing hide and seek with him, but she can't get close to him. It turns out that she still has today. Lower your head, bathe in the light, the subtle music, the subtle joy. Over the years, she has been playing hide and seek with him, but she can't get close to him. It turns out that she still has today. The sweet words were like an ecstasy, causing her to start imagining that she married into the Jiang family not for money, but to meet GZ and fall in love with him. The remaining rationality immediately reminded her, wrong, he is lying to himself. He wanted to defraud her of the money she had gained by sacrificing her life's happiness. This change of thought made Qiqiao furious in an instant, and he cursed her head and face without any restraint. The prank had just begun, and they parted ways unhappily. She hated him, but she still chased him to the window to take another look at this man. Regarding Qiqiao's state of mind at this time, the book writes, she had loved him before. Her love gave her endless pain. This alone makes him worth remembering. She had loved him before. Her love gave her endless pain. This alone makes him worth remembering. Women are so stupid sometimes, and the pain caused by love is worth remembering. She knew that Zhang Jai's was not a good person, and if she wanted to satisfy her lust with him, she had to pretend to be ignorant. But she finally exposed him. Between financial security and sexual satisfaction, Qiqiao once again chose the former. From then on, she put on the golden shackles and lived guarding her children. Daughters love golden shackles are embedded in the bones and blood, and Qiqiao looks at any relationship from the perspective of money. The nephew was playing around with his daughter Chang'an and had some physical contact. Qiqiao believed that he had evil intentions and wanted to seize the family property, so he scolded him and kicked him out. In order to control her daughter, Qiqiao bound the feet of 13-year-old Chang'an, regardless of the jokes of others. Later, the interest waned and the matter was left alone, but Chang'an's feet were ruined. For a lost mattress, Qiqiao prepared to go to the school leaders to investigate. Chang'an didn't want to lose face and go back to school. Qiqiao took the old woman to school, but failed to get her tuition back, so she humiliated the principal. Those who are close to vermilion are red, those who are close to ink are black. Chang'an gradually gave up the idea of making progress, learned to pick right from wrong, make small evildoers, and speak and behave in a clever manner. Regarding this little Qiqiao, Zhang Eiling used a sophisticated metaphor. No matter how young she is nothing more than a delicate snow-red tree, pickled with salt. Chang'an was still unmarried when she was 30 years old. As a mother, Qiqiao made some sarcastic remarks that ignored her responsibility. Chang'an's cousin was kind-hearted and introduced a man named Tong Shifeng who had just returned from studying abroad. Tong Shifeng has not seen the girl from his hometown for many years and has suffered emotional trauma, so he firmly believes that it is better to marry in the traditional way. Chang'an happened to look pitiful. Once in a hurry, twice with intention. On another date, the two went to the park together. Falling in love can change a person's mental outlook. Chang'an came home with some random dreams under the stars, and people became unusually silent, smiling all the time. The happiness shown by her daughter made Qiqiao feel unhappy, and her words became sour. After getting engaged, Qiqiao expressed various doubts and obstacles. When Chang'an was slightly happy, she would scold him regardless of the occasion. After the quarrel, the introducer decided to wash his hands and ignore it, and Chang'an also lost confidence in the marriage. She thought that since they were going to break up sooner or later, it would be better to end it at the most beautiful moment. Knowing that he would regret it, Chang'an still rejected the marriage. When Qiqiao learned that Chang'an and Tong Shifeng continued to communicate in the name of ordinary friends, she secretly invited him to dinner. At the dinner party, she used the prudence and wit of a madman to scare Tang Shifang away by falsely claiming that her daughter was an addict. The first and last love in Chang An's life was destroyed by his mother. This is the revenge of a woman who lacks love on her daughter. She has never tasted sweetness, so she can't bear to embrace the honeypot. Single quotes s marriage. Finally, the daughter-in-law became a mother-in-law. Regarding Qiqiao's psychology towards her son during this period, the book writes, because he is her son, he is not even half of him. Now, she can't keep even this half of him. She's married. The more you can't keep something, the more you want to possess it. This is often the case with women. At night, Qiqiao lay on the cigarette shop and deliberately ordered her son Changbai to wait on her. Changbai is a mama's boy and dare not disobey his mother's orders. Facing his own son, Qiqiao's long-suppressed passion is hidden and exposed in the small movements of his hands and feet. She coaxed him and provoked him, and with Chang'an singing along and cooperating with her mother, Changbai stayed willingly. During the long night, mother and son drank tea, ate preserves, and puffed away clouds. However, Qiqiao was not satisfied. She had an idea and teased her son to share the things between husband and wife. Changbai refused at first, but unable to withstand his mother's repeated questioning, he spoke more and more enthusiastically. Stimulated by this kind of language, Qiqiao gritted his teeth, laughed, and murmured curses. He took off his pipe and knocked the ashes inside hard, making the pipes crack. In the foggy clouds and voluptuous words, Changbai spent the whole night with his mother, while his wife Jishu stayed alone in the empty room. At the card table, whether accidentally or intentionally, Qiqiao revealed to the public the couple's secrets that his son had confessed to in front of his mother-in-law, and even added more spice to the story, making it vivid and vivid. The neglect of her husband and the humiliation of her mother-in-law made Zishu feel so ashamed and resentful that she could not complain or cry, because no matter what she did, she would be ridiculed by her mother-in-law. This kind of marriage simply made her want to die. The husband and wife were at odds, and Changbai frequented Huaji and Liuxiang as before. In order to win over him, Qiqiao gave him the girl Huaner as his concubine, and coaxed him to become addicted to opium. The atmosphere was full of smoke and smoke day after day. Later, Zishu contracted tuberculosis. Her husband and mother-in-law did not take her seriously, and the maids who served her were also neglectful. This poor woman lay alone in bed until the oil ran out. When she died, my concubine happened to give birth to a young master. Under the same roof, over there, a group of people celebrated their birthdays happily. Over here, a person passed away in desolation and despair. Less than a year after Juer replaced Zishu, she committed suicide by swallowing raw opium. From then on, Changbai did not dare to marry again. Chang'an even gave up the idea of marrying. Their mother got her wish has never been happy, and he has not given his children a chance to be happy. After reading the story of the Golden Lock, I couldn't help but think, if Qiqiao had married someone who liked her, even though she was poor, she would not have fallen into an empty marriage, nor would she have had a twisted personality, and she would have probably avoided a tragic life. As Foulé commented on this work, if love cannot be satisfied in one person, it needs the happiness in life of 3 or 4 people to pay off the debt. Terrible revenge. Sometimes life is like a chess game. If you make one wrong move, you will lose everything. In a life of lack of money, you may make noises over trivial matters, but they are just ordinary noises. A marriage lacking love and emotional desolation makes people feel miserable. That is truly miserable. Just like the Qiqiao, wearing golden shackles, losing lust and distorting psychology, such a life is harmful to others and to oneself.
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.